talking about some things that we wish we would have known before we went to basic training for the Air Force.
Air Force BMT.
There it is, Air Force Basic Military Training. Yes.
Yeah.
So, do you just want to dive into it? Start off. What? I'll let you go first. What's up? What would you have liked to known before stepping off the bus and getting yelled at by a bunch of people in weird looking hats?
So, I'll probably think of a couple things, but I'll start off with, I knew for me personally before I left, I was doing a lot of research. I was watching all the big like Air Force BMT YouTubers.
Yeah.
I think Kyle Gott was one of them. There's a couple other channels where like they're going through like, hey, what to pack, what to bring, you know. Should you run 20 miles a day beforehand or not really prepare at all? I think the biggest thing would have been, I felt like I kind of went in pretty calm because I felt like I did a lot of the research beforehand. So I had kind of certain expectations. Yeah. But I would say like when I got there, it doesn't always, it's different for every flight, every person and stuff like that. So I think for myself is maybe not over prepare because even like the stuff on YouTube that people talk about, like your experience could be completely different. Yeah. You know, you might have someone that, I don't know, bring this thing and they're like, nope, you can't have it. It's going to get locked up for a while. Yeah, because I think you realize pretty quick, it's like, oh, this isn't everything I studied for the past couple months.
Definitely not.
I also think it kind of keeps it like pretty interesting too to go kind of like almost like a clean slate.
Yeah, no,
so
that's definitely what I did. I didn't do anything.
Oh, you didn't do anything?
I didn't do anything. I went in there just like, hey, what's up? Like, I'm Shawn.
Yeah.
Like, and then it just like, boom, you know, it hit me like a train. So. You were in the old dorms, right? So obviously basic training nowadays is a lot different from when you and I went. And it's not us being, oh, back in our day. No, it like actually is different. Yeah. Completely structured different. Yeah. So I hope what we talk about is somewhat relevant. I would imagine it is because it's not too different. But you were in the old dorms, right? We were in the same training squadron, weren't we?
Yeah, 322nd.
322nd. We were like the Eagles or something like that, right? That's what
Flying Eagles.
Yeah, something like that. I forget what it was. I knew it was like gold, right? Like gold something.
Yeah.
Anyways, dude, remember the pigeons under the overhangs and stuff? All those birds.
I was there. I got there beginning of January.
Oh, dude, yeah, I was over August, so it was hot for me.
So,
was it not hot over the winter?
You're talking the. No, it was pretty cold and it was like dreary for most of it. Right before I left, it started to get a little bit warmer, and it started bringing that like Texas humidity.
Oh, yikes!
Which I know you probably.
Oh, it was hot, dude.
Yeah,
it was really hot. You remember those little like those flashlight things, the Lackland lightsabers or whatever?
Lasers.
Yeah, the Lackland lasers, dude. I remember at the beginning walking around with them a lot, and then I still have mine somewhere, but I don't remember ever using it ever. To be completely honest with you.
Towards the end. Well, so I think I used them a lot more because there might be things in the afternoon that we were doing, say it's like a medical or a class where we'd be marching, and for me it was during winter, so sun was down by 4.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So we would use them then.
Okay.
But then for you, like, the sun wouldn't be down until like
8. Like it was pretty late.
Yeah, so you probably have them, but you probably would never really turn them on that much.
I don't even remember like carrying it, to be completely honest with you.
We used ours a lot. I think mine ended up dying 3/4 of the way through.
Oh, dang.
We would go through or whatever, and then just not to be singled out, I remember I just like would shake it, and then it would turn on for a little bit. I'm like, stay on, stay on,
please.
But it was dumb. It was the old crappy bulbs.
Yeah, dude.
I'm like, they should have gave us like, I don't know.
I mean, obviously they give you crappy stuff to stress you out. Like, I'm pretty sure it was a part of it. So.
Dude, they could have went into AutoZone and got one of them keychain ones.
No,
that would have been so much better than what we got.
Really easy fixes.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. So, yeah, like, so you're saying not doing, I mean, like, obviously you want to, like, look into, I mean, clearly I did Google it, or I YouTubed it, and I was like, hey, like, what is basic training like, you know? Like, no duh. Because you don't want to, like, completely go in blind, but not overanalyze it, and not, like, be like, okay, week 3, you're going to make a left movement and do this, you know? Like, it's not completely...
Yeah, and then they switch up the weeks. Yeah, so definitely, like, don't over-prepare because things can change.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And you might, I don't want to say psych yourself out, but you might, like, stress out about certain things, like, over-analyzing. So then, like, the week there, you either get there and you're like, oh, no, when's this going to happen? When's that going to happen? Or you're so chill that you think you know everything, and you end up, you know, falling face first because you get called out or anything like that. You know, like over cocky, basically.
Yeah, oh yeah. So something else to think about was when you and I went through, that was after they got that big SARC thing. Yeah. At least that's what they said. Yeah. So I remember in my flight, like they were like really weird about that. Like, you know, I had our flight and our brother flight. And I remember our brother flight had a staff sergeant MTI that apparently, like, it was a female, and she said something to a male and, like, crossed lines, basically, and got themselves in trouble, and she disappeared, and they got, like, a substitute, basically. Like, they got, like, a substitute MTI for the rest of BMT.
Well, you said while you were there.
Yeah. So...
Wow.
Like, looking back on it, like, it kind of makes me think, like, was that a part of BMT? Was that just them messing with us? But no, I don't think so, because I know how the Air Force kind of is, and I could see the Air Force acting that way.
It was something that was, I'll tell you this, it was something that was taken very seriously.
Very seriously. I wonder before that, because, you know, we had the buddy system. Like, you always went, like, I need to go to the bathroom, you can't go by yourself.
Oh, the wingman.
Yeah, the wingman thing, you know? So, like, I wonder, that was probably always a thing, but that probably really started being enforced. I don't know. Who knows?
I don't actually. I think from what I heard, it wasn't. So it would. Okay, so it wouldn't happen that much, because if you think, what situations would you be by yourself anyway? You're either always with a flight or with a group of people.
Always with someone all the time, unless you like had to go to medical or something. Because the thing that really irritated me with that's actually something. Really thinking about it, that's something like really I was not prepared for. Because like, you know, like halfway through like basic training, people start like falling out and they go to medical and stuff. Yeah. So like you had to like walk in a group. Like it'd be like you, a wingman, and like the hurt person or hurt people walking to medical or the med flight or whatever, you know, way off in the distance. Well, for us it wasn't that far because our squadron was like right there. But like you go over there, that was weird, dude. That was like a depressing area. I remember going in there and like everybody like hated. It was like I just want to go home. Like I don't want to be in the military.
Well,
like,
do you remember? You know how where our building was, there was that gate. Yeah. And then there were like buildings down there, smaller ones. Yeah. I think we were told that that's like the people who were either I don't want to say like going through MEB or kind of getting kicked out of basic training. And you just always see them just kind of wandering. Like, it was super lax.
It was really, I heard,
But then, like, you see everyone's, like, either miserable or super happy. You know?
It was very weird. But, I can tell you something that I was not prepared for in basic training was working out. Running. Yeah. We ran every morning? I don't remember. We ran a lot. It was a lot of running. Yeah. Like, actual running, not, like, getting yelled at and running. No, I mean like running.
Track, right?
Track, around the track in the mornings. So I never like got good at that. Like it was always a struggle. Yeah. Dude, before basic training I was working at Rutter's for a little bit at a gas station. I was working at a gas station. They sold cheeseburgers. So I was downing cheeseburgers every day. So I was eating like crap on top of like, back then I didn't even know what water was. I was like, does it have corn syrup and
this ain't Mountain Dew.
This ain't no Mountain Dew. No, like I just like that wasn't a thing to me. I just didn't know what eating a proper diet was. So like that was something that really hurt. Not gonna lie, like that initial like first couple like 3 weeks of just like, you know, waking up and like working out then eating, you know, was like weird. Very weird and very, like, physically stressful, not like emotionally taxing, just like physically like, wow, this is hard to get used to.
Yeah.
And my advice is like, I'm not saying like become freaking shredded and ripped, because if you do that, you will actually gain weight in basic training because you don't really work out like that, you know.
Yeah,
but it's like
there was I heard stories of people that would run like practically like half marathons preparing for it, thinking that they're going to be doing all this stuff. And when like I said, when you get there, like you're eating probably more calories and you're running a lot, but I think with the kind of exercise, like you said, like people end up gaining weight. I'm not bad weight, but
it's something else that I will mention. Just thinking of it off the top of my head, the food was always fresh. It was always fresh in the DFAC, and I think that just is because the rotation of food. Like I remember when I got my first duty station, like the food, like not everybody always ate at the DFAC. Rarely ever ate at the DFAC, to be honest with you. So like, you know, like the food, I'm not saying is old and stale. It was just like not as fresh. Like it definitely tasted canned, and it tasted, you know, I get it. Like it comes from the same place, but with the amount of people running through like basic training, like that was like, I was like, yo, we're eating. Oh, thank God. Like that was like such a break. That was such, like that kept me going. Was like, it was like every meal kind of felt like a dessert, you know, in a way, if that makes any sense. It's like,
especially like when there would be certain things to look forward to.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, you know, the grilled cheese.
Yep.
Breakfast, I know, was a big one that I really liked, and I think that kind of got me into breakfast afterwards because I was never a breakfast person. But
no, I get that. Yeah,
you know, it's crazy. Like I honestly, like without like us talking about this stuff, I would never like thought that like, oh yeah, I really wasn't a breakfast person before. Same, yeah. But now I'm like, I want some eggs, some pancakes.
Yeah, some like a big, not a big breakfast, but like a nice breakfast. Because you look at it and you're like, man, this is going to feel good. Yeah. You know, like when I'm like doing whatever later, like. So, side note, Beast Week, I don't think they do it anymore. They have something different. But during Beast Week, I was fortunately selected, my flight was fortunately selected to do like the food distribution and like working, remember?
For the...
I forget what they called it. They had a name for it. Yeah, so like the DFAC at like Beast Week.
Chow detail?
Chow something, I don't know.
Kitchen detail? Something like that.
But like that's what we had to do during Beast Week. And oh my God, was that the coolest thing ever. Yeah. Like, no, it was so lax. Also, later on, I also got assigned details to clean the obstacle course. Because my flight was, and I know yours because you were a little ahead of me.
We didn't get to do it.
You didn't do obstacle course?
The weather was bad.
Well, I know, like, after my flight was one of the last ones to do the obstacle course, like the actual one. And I don't think they do it anymore. So me and, like, a handful of other guys got selected to, like, cut the grass and everything. Like, I swear. Like, it was so lax. It was, like some random, like, staff sergeant that we got assigned to, and he's not MTI. He's not in training. I don't even know what AFSC he was, but like he just didn't care. He was just like, "What's up, dude? Like, how's basic?" Cool.
KP.
Yeah. KP duty. That's what it was. Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, KP duty during Beast Week was amazing because we just ate whatever we want. After, like, dude, the chili mac. Remember chili mac, bro?
I do not remember.
Bro, that was what I remember.
In the MREs?
No, like actual chili mac.
No.
They would make it. So like during Beast Week, we made it. Dude, I ate so much. We'd had food babies. Legit had food babies. Like, my stomach would hurt. It was amazing.
Because you're so used to eating like kind of standard stuff, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, today I'm gonna have 3,000 calories in food.
All throughout Beast, dude. Yeah. All throughout Beast, ate amazing.
Did you get any coffee?
No, I don't believe so.
So I heard a lot of times like people on KP duty would be able to. I don't want to say sneak because I think the people there would be like, yeah, get a cup of coffee or whatever. Imagine that. You've been deprived from coffee or any kind of caffeine for so long, and then you have one cup. You're like, zoom in.
I did drink a soda. I drink a soda in basic training.
How's that?
I donated blood, and I'm AB negative, so they made me donate plasma. And, well, they didn't make me, but they, like, convinced me, because, like, you'll get cookies and soda afterwards, and I'm like, oh, and I get out of basic training, say less.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I drank a soda. That was kind of cool. I remember it tasting amazing.
Did I ever tell you my story?
What?
When we were given blood? Did I ever tell you that?
No, I don't think so.
All right, so I don't know what it was for you, but for when you were able to get blood, it was like maybe the second or third to last week of.
Yeah, I remember being very late, like you're about to graduate type stuff.
Yeah. So I was always kind of open to it. I just never done it. And I remember either they had a representative talk about it or it was one of the training instructors. But they were kind of reiterating like, oh, it's good for service members that might need it and everything. And us being a BMT, like we're super gung-ho, America, go to the troops. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go and do that. So a lot of people in my flight went down and I'm super chill through the whole thing. And, you know, they sit you down, they poke you. I'm not weird about needles or anything or weird with blood. They go through, they take out whatever they need to get from me. And they come back in. And I remember going out and I was like super excited to get because you were saying about the cookie and the soda. It's like, oh, I'm so excited for this. And I'm just standing in the hall and one person looks over at me and they were like, Zach, they were like, you don't look too good. I was like, what?
Oh God.
And like a second or two later, I passed out. I was on the floor.
Out. Oh my God.
So I don't know how long.
Laugh, but holy crap.
I don't know how long I was out, but I remember waking up, 2 nurses beside me, and I'm just looking around, and I'm like, I just passed out. Which, let me tell you, the weirdest thing, I felt like I woke up from, like, the greatest nap ever. Because you know how, like, sleep deprived you are?
Oh, yeah,
and I think when you pass out, your body kind of just resets. It's like a hard reset.
Yeah.
But I remember waking up being really confused about what happened. But I was like, I felt like I took, like, a 2-hour nap.
I had a break.
Yeah. When, seriously, I was only out for probably, like, 5 seconds.
Dang, dude. I bet it felt good, though. Hey, man, at least you got a small BMT break by passing out.
A little nappy nap.
Yeah, dude.
They took me, the nurses went and got me, and they took me to the back room. And I think they just told me, oh, you just passed out. Everything's, or they were just like, oh, you passed out. So they took me to a back room. My flight ended up leaving, going back to our dorm. And I was sitting there just waiting for a bit, and they weren't really telling anything. Granted, I'm 2 or 3 weeks away from graduating from basic training. And I'm sitting there just with the thoughts in my head.
No, yeah, definitely.
And I'm like, what's wrong with me? They're going to figure out something's wrong with me. I'm going to get med board. I'm going to get kicked out. And I'm seriously, like, freaking out. And probably 20 minutes later, a nurse walks in, like, how you feeling? It's like, good. But in my head, I'm like, super stressed right now. What's going on? She's like, oh, okay, you can go. You can get like a soda and a cookie and then head back. So that was probably the most nerve-wracking. Yeah. Amongst all the things that happened during basic, the most nerve-wracking thing.
You pass out. God. Yeah, I could definitely. I mean, honestly, because like that was like a fear on everybody's brain. Once again, something else I guess to bring up is like the mind games. Like, it's not mind game. Like, no one plays mind games. Like, they really don't. You play mind games on yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like I wish I would have just understood. It's like, it does take a lot to, I mean, because they're investing money in you. I wish I would have known that. Like, because I thought they would just drop you. Be like, oh, you're boring. I don't want you anymore. Just throw them away. Unless you had, like, a medical condition that was, like, you know, like, bad. Like, then you're getting kicked out. I wish I would have known that and would have just, like, enjoyed it. Would have just been, like, boom, like, just playing along in the games and everything. Because, like, I'm not going to lie, dude, as aircraft maintenance, that was the most military thing I've ever done in my life with basic training. Because everything after that was just overpaid government employee.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, so
there was maybe hints here or there, some cool stuff, but I feel like I had the same kind of thought as what you did.
Yeah.
Was it would just kind of, it would be a little bit more relaxed, but it would roll over. But yeah, like once I got kind of used to things and people got used to me, it was just like just a Monday through Friday, basically.
So earlier, I don't know if we ever, because we were talking a little bit before we started recording. I think we are going to call it fire guard, right? That's what we're calling it, I think.
Fire monitor.
Fire monitor. So, fire monitor. The person who assigns people to be like the night watch and everything. So, like, no responsibility really, just making sure. It was dumb. It was, I don't know. So like you would sit there at night, right?
Yeah.
And you have like 2 or 3 hour stints of, So my recommendation to anyone that is watching that might be going through basic training is be friends with the fire monitor.
Yeah.
Because if you're not, I wasn't not friends with him, but like I don't think he likes me, and I don't know why. And I was always getting like 2 a.m. to like 4, and then you had to be up like an hour later. So it was like, oh my god, like I always had like the really crappy hours.
So probably what happened is if you can't think of a reason why maybe he wouldn't have liked you.
It was probably just because he was like, I don't know him.
Don't know him,
Yeah,
put him there.
I don't care.
And
like,
after you did it 1 or 2 times, he's like, okay, that's my guy.
Yeah,
for that
exactly.
Shift.
He's not complaining. So that's probably that guaranteed that you are right. So like, if I would recommend anything, it's that like find out like you're obviously gonna know who he is because everybody does. So like find that out, and I'm not saying kiss ass, but like roll his socks. Fold some of that laundry for him. I don't know. Be homies with him. Be like pretty cool because it's just
it helps you out.
Oh, that would be a huge help out, honestly.
I lucked out. Okay, so I only had to do it once, and it was right, maybe a week before we graduated.
Dang.
Part of that was I was one of the element leaders, which for anyone that might not know, an element leader is when they're marching in their rows, the first 4 people, that would be like the element leaders. So it's almost like team leaders.
It was almost like a hierarchy within the flight. So it was like you don't have rank, but like you kind of do.
Yeah, so like
you were responsible for stuff.
We had different responsibilities, but then for the standard stuff, we got kind of a break.
Yeah.
With cleaning, like a lot of times we might go around and make sure things were getting done, and then report to the flight.
I don't remember the names, dude. The person that was in charge in flight, it was usually like the oldest person. Those people were always like red ropes and stuff through tech school. We'll get into that later, but like, oh god, I didn't know you were an element leader. How'd you manage that?
For me, it was because I had drill experience.
Oh, okay.
And they pretty much pointed that out pretty early on.
Okay.
And they put me there.
Okay.
They made sure not that I wasn't feeling too confident or too comfortable with things. So when they switched me in, they kind of made it seem like, oh, we're just going to switch this random person in. But they knew.
Yeah.
And then I know later on with marching, they would randomly, the senior drill instructor, I think really gave me a hard time. Because with going through with drill, he would always kind of call out that I was messing up on things that I wasn't. And the funniest thing is, I wouldn't change a single thing.
Oh god.
They would say, "You're doing this wrong." I wouldn't change anything, and they wouldn't call anything out.
Yes.
So they were trying to get me, especially during drill, they were trying to get me to slip up. So they were thinking like, "Oh, we're gonna say he's doing this thing wrong because he's looking kind of cocky over there, thinking I was gonna mess up," which then he can go through and chew me out for something.
I remember it was early on, and like this was early August is when my basic started.
Yeah.
So it's pretty hot, and it was us and our brother flight out marching around. We had a really cool MTI throughout we had a guy and a girl. The master sergeant was the female. The guy was the tech, and he was always with us. She bounced in whenever he couldn't. Really cool. So good relationship between all of us. Whatever. Having a blast, this and that, marching, and then I remember our brother flight, like their MTI, like they had a staff, like I said, and this was the replacement staff after they got in trouble and stuff, and they, I don't know if they just like salty about it, because who knows what his duties were before getting assigned to flight, because I mean, you gotta think, like, it's like, dang, dude, like I had to be with these people all day long, like I would never want to be at an MTI. That's probably one of the worst special duty assignments ever.
It definitely takes up a lot of their day.
Dude, so they're like marching and stuff, and I don't know what, but next thing you know, like they're doing push-ups, like on the the tarmac, like the black asphalt. It was hot, dude. It was like hot outside, daytime.
That flight.
Yeah, our brother flights doing like push up because they're like messing up. I'm like, R.I.P. your hands, bro. Like that sucks.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy is that 2 guys that were in that flight actually went to Dover with me. They were hydromechanics. So, like, it was the weirdest thing, because, like, we'd be, like, working on a jet together, and be like, hey, remember that time in basic training? It was the weirdest thing, like, having those stories with people. And very strange.
It's funny, because you couldn't go to other people in your, like, in your squadron, and tell about BMT stories, because they're like, God, be quiet, boot.
Yeah, nobody would, like, really talk about basic.
But as soon as you run into that bro that you went in with, they're like,
it was
good times.
Yeah, it was always weird. It was almost just like, yo, like, we did this together, dude. That was nuts, wasn't it? Like, kind of like that backstory. It was weird that, like, you could share that.
Absolutely crazy, man.
Dude, yeah. So
we had, going back a little bit, when you were saying about the whole SARC incident.
Yeah.
Another story I have. I have a lot of stories from when I went to basic.
Jeez.
There was, it was probably about halfway through, and right when the appointments really start ramping up.
Yeah.
We were going through, and for whatever reason, we were super late. Our lead drill instructor was super behind, super stressed, and we were just like, hey, we gotta get going and everything. And I remember him randomly being like, oh crap, we forgot something, and like Marky and so Marky, can you go get this thing? And the whole flight is kind of scrambling. None of us are thinking, so it's like, yep, yes sir. Booked it up the stairs to get to our flight. Came down, and like halfway through the stairway, it was me and a random other MTI.
Oh God.
And if you remember...
Yeah, if you get caught alone, that's a big deal.
We both looked at each other with like, oh shit, oh crap eyes, sorry. He asked, he's like, what flight are you with? And I told him, said what I was having to get. He's like, okay, get back to your flight.
Bro, I always love like the human interaction. It's like they drop the MTI face, and it's like they're just like a tech or staff. They're just like, all right, dude, just go. Come on.
But it was more so both of us were like, because we knew he was like, okay, get along, but he like, and after I left, he's probably like, man, that was a close one.
Yeah, dude. I mean, honestly, think about it. He could have. I mean, because then he knows. He probably talked to the MTI afterwards and this and that. But like, I don't know, dude. Like thinking back to it, God, you remember that squadron commander we had, the crazy dude? He would run with us. You remember that in the morning, dude? He was like the shorter guy. He was like nuts.
Was he
like the
Asian?
Yeah, he was
Lieutenant Colonel.
He was an Asian lieutenant colonel.
I forget his name. I forget his name. I remember he was a really cool guy.
He was like he was cool. Like I'm not saying he was like mean or anything, but like he would also like take on the role of like MTI. So I don't know if that was like a sign to him or he was just doing it.
I have no idea.
But he would run with us. Like he would like come out there. Bro, I remember this one. It was a tech sergeant. This big dude. Like I don't remember what, like huge guy. And tech, he would be in boots and he'd be running with us. He'd be like full uniform, just and he like typical like way too into it MTI, like fitted uniform, like like that. And he was a big dude, so like obviously like he looks good in uniform to begin with. He's just out there just like in boots, like keeping up with everybody. I'm just like, oh my God,
running faster than you.
Yeah, way faster than me. Like keeping up with the people that are like on like the outer side of the track, just really like getting it. I remember just being like, oh my God, like I'm like, dude, you're running with us, and I know he's probably working out, and on top of that, like. It's like, what, dude? Are you like a robot? Like, looking back on that now, like, wow. But honestly, like, I feel like being, like, the whole MTI and everything, like, understanding their perspective, if I would have understood that a little bit more, and instead of seeing, I mean, obviously, it's so hard for us at that time, because, like, you don't know what, like, being there.
You're just trying to survive and get through the day.
Yeah, you're just trying to, like, get through. But, like, looking back on it, like, seeing how much, like, my MTIs did, my master in tech, like, they, like, that is a very, like, thankless position within the military. Like at the end, like, hey, thank you, sir, shake your hand, this and that, I really do appreciate it. Like, but like looking back at it now, I'd be like, sir, like I really do appreciate like you like waking up at like 4 a.m. just to be here with us, you know, like, because it was kind of weird, you know,
working
like
6 days a week,
you know, doing whatever they did in our little office and like doing else, like they did a lot on top of like, and I don't know if it is now, but I know back when I was, you know, active, like that was like no one really ever applied to those positions. Like that was almost like, hey, like I got assigned MTI. Yeah. Oh my God.
Some people, they look for extra duties just to kind of get out, or they actually really want to, because a lot of them think like, oh, hey, I'm going to be able to mold
the future, replace me. You know,
the future of the Air Force. So it all depends. There's definitely both sides. Definitely some bad eggs that have gotten through in the past. But they're usually pretty quick at figuring that out and then making sure that things are set up.
Before we wrap up, I just want to share one story with you that I thought this was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
We had in the squadron a senior airman, MTI. And I always wondered, looking back at it now, what did he do to lose rank to be a senior airman MTI? Because I remember seeing that being like, back then, like, I didn't know what that meant. Now looking at it, I'm like, bro, what did you do? Like,
what's going on here?
Like, do you think he got like a DUI? Like, how did he lose rank? He had to have lost rank.
Well, so he was young, right?
I mean, looking back at it, he was probably like 24, 25. Like, typical, like, staff sergeant age.
So he was, probably staff.
He had it, yeah.
Very unlikely he was a tech. I don't think it would be DUI, because I think they would have bumped him down, like, Airman Basic, and then he would have gotten maybe...
I mean, who knows? Who knows? But, like, what did he, like... Unless it was just some weird thing, you know, that happened in a senior airman. But, like he never was a part of our flight, but I remember our brother flight, like, our brother flight had a lot of problems, like, with their MTIs and, like, just people moving, shifting. And honestly, it sucks because, like, you form that, it's almost like a relationship in a way. It's just like, okay, I know what this tech sergeant wants from me. I know them. I know how to clean the way they want us to clean. I know how they want us to, you know, move and like respond. Yeah. So like when it's switching up like that, that would just add so much more stress.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always wonder like why was that staff? I mean, why was that senior airman an MTI? So I don't know. Just looking back, dude, me personally, working out, the fire monitor try to kiss their butt.
Yeah. And
finally like understand, like, it's not just you going through basic training, like, it's everyone around you, and on top of that, someone that's been in the Air Force way too long already, doing something for you, you know, even if it's they want to or if they don't, like, they're still providing you a huge service, like, that is really crazy to think about. Like,
a lot of cog wheels going to make everything.
Dude, it's a lot together. Moving around. I don't know about you, but I remember like I'm getting to my squadron. Like I'm like 3 years in the Air Force, getting beat up, 12-hour shifts, getting to work. You know, you're 45 minutes, 30 minutes early. You're sitting in the parking lot like, all right, let's go. You know, like it's like that. Oh God, dude, like, getting out of the car. That's a big step out of the car. It was not just a physical step. It was like a huge thing. It meant something. So like imagine like, okay, I gotta go get these 35 random strangers to follow me and do stuff and learn stuff and like understand, you know.
They definitely, from the time that you step off that bus, you are in a very vulnerable situation.
Oh, definitely.
They definitely make sure that, hey, I'm the boss, you will listen to me. And then without trying to seem like they're nice, they help you throughout the
Oh, dude, they really, like, they help you a lot. And, like, you don't notice it, like I said, at the time, but, like, they are really, like, just follow them. Like, regardless if you're an old person going in the BMT or if you're, like, just turned 18, like, yesterday and you're going in the BMT, like, just listen. Like, just listen and follow and just see what they have to say.
Yeah.
And just hope and pray to God that your MTI is actually, like, worth something. Because if not, BMT might suck.
Yeah.
Can't talk about it nowadays. Okay, who knows what it is. But I don't, dude, it's probably, like, they probably got them cell phones in BMT. And
Yeah, I heard about that.
Can I share one more thing with you?
Yeah.
I remember, like, halfway through when you get that phone call, I remember I had a Galaxy, an S4. I think I had S4 Galaxy at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty big screen. I remember, like, it turning on, and I was like, oh, God,
That's
dude.
what it looks like.
Yeah, like that. Like, I was like, wow, dude, this is pretty cool. And I remember calling everybody, and no one answered. So that sucked, but... And yeah, like RIP. But hey, I saw him like a month later. You know?
That's not bad.
What was it? 17 weeks for us? I don't know what it is now. It's like 14 or 16 weeks.
I think something like that.
I know they shortened it.
I know. The first phone call that I got, I called my mom, which oddly enough, I like bawled my eyes out.
No, I bet, dude.
It's like,
we were kids.
It wasn't even that. Like, I was going through, like, I was doing good, but
Yeah.
just like how it's kind of not
dude.
realizing it. You know, my mom's like, "Oh, hey, how are things?"
I feel you, dude.
And I remember Liv got annoyed, and she's like, "You didn't call me first?" It's like, it's my mom. Of course, I'm gonna call her first.
Dude, yeah, I'm on your side, 110%. Yeah, I called my parents, no one answered. Called Misty, didn't answer, and I was like, "Hey guys, I love y'all. I miss y'all. I guess I'll see you in a couple weeks when I graduate. See you. Love you. Bye."
And then you got to see the text back.
Yeah, dude.
After.
I remember like handing my phone back and it was gone. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
But to wrap up, when you graduate, right, and you get on that bus to go to your tech school, wherever it is, that's a good feeling, dude.
Yeah.
It's an accomplishing feeling. I never felt accomplished before, you know? And I felt like I did something good.
Yeah.
I did something right. And like it was a really nice way to start a new chapter in my life. Adulthood. So yeah, it was a really cool feeling on that bus. You know, be like, see y'all.
Yeah.
See you, Lackland.
I didn't really do kind of like self-reflecting until I was in tech school and I really had like my own free time, like on the weekends where I just go out or it's nice weather and just kind of thinking like, holy crap, like this is my life now. Like I did this.
Yeah.
You know, this is something completely different where I'm out of my comfort zone.
Yep. It felt good though.
It was a good feeling.
It felt independent in a way. It's like you were independent, but you were a part of this big daddy Air Force behind me. They got me. You know, but I can be like, I can go, I don't know, do something. I can go buy a car, you know, dump like thousands of dollars into it, make it cool noises, and then lose a bunch of money on it.
Yeah, definitely wasn't thinking about, at least for me, I wasn't thinking about that in tech school. Early, I didn't get into cars until I was...
Oh, God, I was, dude.
Until I was in Vegas.
That's a story for another day, Zach. Don't get there. Because that's how I found the Mazdas in tech school.
Yeah.
I think I already shared that story, yeah.
I think so, yeah. You mentioned about... And you bought it. You bought it there at tech school.
No.
Oh.
I bought it in Maryland. After. I was already over.
Okay. That makes sense.
So, any other closing comments, Zach?
Yeah. Remember this, my lead MTI, he ran a podcast for a little bit.
No, he didn't.
He did.
Oh, shoot.
I forget what the name of it was. If I remember, I might put it down in the description.
Oh, shit.
But I remember he did a podcast, and I followed it for a little bit, and honestly, I forgot about it after all these years.
Dude, that would have been amazing.
I'm pretty sure he talked about stories, like why it was in. I don't think it's one of those... I don't think he was religious or anything. I think he was mellow, like talk, have a good time, or tell good stories, cool stories. But yeah, now I'm curious. I gotta go look him up, see if he's still active. But I remember seeing him on Facebook and Instagram, like posting stories, like, "Hey, check this out." I think he actually had a decent following too.
Oh dang! Well, we gotta look that up, dude. Yeah, we'll find it and throw it down in the description. Shout out your MTI.
Yeah, I would definitely say for anyone that is about to go in basic or looking into joining the military, don't psych yourself out too much. I don't know. It might be cheesy. Trust the process. You know, you'll get through. Everything will be good, and you'll have a lot of cool stories when
you just enjoy it
when you get out the other side. Yeah. Like we're doing now, reminiscing.
Reminiscing, dude.
Which, when we get to another episode, I got even more BMT stories.
Some juicy stories. Can't wait, dude.
But I think that's it.
All right, dude. Well, follow Zach on the Insta.
Socials will be down below.
Yeah, and I don't know. If you want to look at some cool car pictures, I'll post them on my Instagram. So we appreciate it.
Some vaporwave music.
Yeah. But well, all right. I guess it's done.
Yeah, we're good.
Bye.
Bye.